When most people think of the most lethal cowboys of the 19th century, they likely think of the likes of Wyatt Earp, Pat Sugra, Billy Tillman, and other legendary figures who patrolled the dusty streets of the Wild West. But among these names stands out one that often gets overlooked: Bass Reeves, the first African-American U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi River. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to look at the life and career of Bass Reeves, the first African-American U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi River, who captured over 3,000 outlaws. After serving in the Civil War, Bass Reeves went on to have an illustrious law enforcement career that saw him capture more than 3,000 criminals. He was so revered by his peers that many believed he was the inspiration for the Lone Ranger. His story is truly amazing and definitely worth sharing with everyone here today. Born into slavery on June 18, 1838, near the town of Mount Vernon, Indiana, Reeves's early life was marked by hardship and racial prejudice. As a young boy, he witnessed the horrors of slavery firsthand and resolved to make a difference in the world when he grew up. This resolve only grew after the outbreak of the Civil War. Despite being just a teenager when the war began, Reeves enlisted in the Union Army at the age of 17 under the alias of Gordon Wims, claiming to be the son of a white father and black mother. This was necessary because the Union Army did not allow black soldiers to enlist. However, once the Union Army started accepting black soldiers, Reeves officially joined the 1st Kansas Colored Infantry Regiment. During his time in the Army, he proved himself to be a brave and skilled soldier, earning the respect of his white officers and black peers. He was also exposed to law enforcement work, serving as a guard at a prison for captured Confederate soldiers, which sparked his interest in a law enforcement career. In 1864, during the Battle of Mine Creek in western Missouri, Reeves faced a pivotal moment that would shape his future. While most of his regiment had been sent out on a reconnaissance mission, Reeves and another black soldier were left behind to guard the camp. Suddenly, a group of Confederate soldiers attacked, and the two soldiers found themselves outnumbered and surrounded. Despite the danger, Reeves refused to surrender. Instead, he fought back with all his might. In the end, he managed to kill or wound 10 of the Confederates, while suffering only minor injuries himself. This heroic defense earned him recognition and solidified his desire to pursue a career in law enforcement. After the battle, he continued to serve in the Army until the end of the war. When the Civil War came to an end, Reeves was eager to start his new career in law enforcement. However, finding a job was not easy due to the racial discrimination of the time period. Nonetheless, he persevered and eventually landed a position as a deputy sheriff in a small town in Kansas. It was there that he honed his skills as a lawman and made a name for himself as a fearless and effective officer. During his time as a deputy sheriff, Reeves developed a reputation for being able to track down and capture criminals who had evaded the law for years. He was particularly adept at tracking fugitives who had escaped into Indian Territory, an area that was largely unknown to white Americans and considered to be a lawless wasteland. But Reeves, who was knowledgeable about the terrain and spoke several Native American languages, was up for the challenge. He would spend days or even weeks following leads and tracking down outlaws in this rugged terrain, often facing dangerous situations and deadly shootouts along the way. Through his bravery and determination, he earned the respect and admiration of his peers and the gratitude of the people he had helped. In 1875, Reeves's skills and reputation caught the attention of Judge Isaac Parker, who appointed him as a U.S. Marshal. In this role, he became the first African-American to serve west of the Mississippi River, where he was tasked with bringing justice to a region that was still struggling to establish law and order. The American West in the late 19th century was a dangerous place, especially for African Americans like Bass Reeves. Despite the end of slavery, the region was still deeply affected by racism and prejudice, and blacks were often subjected to violence and discrimination. But Reeves did not let these challenges deter him from doing his job. One of the most infamous outlaws he hunted down was the Dalton Gang, a notorious gang of robbers led by the Dalton brothers. The gang had terrorized the region for years, robbing trains, banks, and stagecoaches with impunity. But Reeves and his team were determined to bring them to justice. After a long and arduous pursuit, Reeves finally cornered the gang and a shootout ensued. In the end, the Daltons were killed, and Reeves and his team emerged victorious. Another famous outlaw that Reeves brought to justice was the Cherokee Jack, a criminal who had evaded capture for years, despite having committed numerous crimes. Reeves tracked him down to a remote cabin in the woods, and after a tense standoff, persuaded Jack to surrender peacefully. Perhaps the most significant case Reeves worked on was the trial of Thomas McLaurin, a white man who had murdered a black man named John W. Bush in cold blood. The case was highly publicized, and many expected Reeves to be intimidated by the white defendant and his powerful supporters. But Reeves stood firm, gathering evidence and building a strong case against McLaurin. Despite facing threats and harassment, Reeves and his team of black deputies successfully prosecuted McLaurin, securing a guilty verdict and bringing justice to Bush's family. This case was a landmark moment for African-American law enforcement officers, demonstrating that they could stand up to white defendants and their allies and win. Throughout his career, Reeves captured more than 3,000 criminals, including murderers, robbers, and outlaws. He was known for his ability to track down the most wanted criminals in the West, even when they thought they had evaded the law. His success rate was so high that many people believed he had supernatural powers, leading some to believe that he was the inspiration for the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger is a fictional character, a masked Texas Ranger who travels around the Old West with his faithful Native American companion Tonto, fighting for justice and protecting the innocent. While the Lone Ranger is a product of fiction, there are many similarities between the character and Bass Reeves's life and career. Both were skilled lawmen who fought for justice in the Old West. Both were known for their bravery and determination, and both were respected and feared by criminals. Some believe that when the Lone Ranger was created, writers drew inspiration from the real-life exploits of Bass Reeves, creating a character that embodied the same values and principles as the African-American lawman. During his time as a lawman, Reeves was involved in hundreds of shootings, but he was never killed or seriously wounded. He was known for his skill with a gun and his ability to remain calm and focused in the most dangerous situations. One of the weapons he used was an 1873 Colt single-action army revolver, also known as a peacemaker. These revolvers were popular during the Old West and were known for their reliability and accuracy. Reeves likely chose this weapon because it was one of the best and most trusted firearms available at the time. In addition to his gun skills, Reeves was also known for his knowledge of the land and his ability to track criminals through rugged terrain. He was particularly adept at tracking down fugitives who had escaped into Indian Territory, an area that was largely unknown to white Americans and considered to be a lawless wasteland. But Reeves, who was knowledgeable about the terrain and spoke several Native American languages, was up for the challenge. He would spend days or even weeks following leads and tracking down outlaws in this rugged terrain, often facing dangerous situations and deadly shootouts along the way. Through his bravery and determination, he earned the respect and admiration of his peers and the gratitude of the people he had helped. Reeves retired from law enforcement in 1907 after more than 30 years of service. He passed away on September 12, 1910, at the age of 72. He was survived by his wife and 5 children. Bass Reeves was a true pioneer, not only as the first African-American lawman west of the Mississippi, but as a symbol of courage, determination, and justice. He broke down racial barriers and proved that African Americans could excel in law enforcement, even in the face of adversity. His legacy continues to inspire law enforcement officers today, and his story is a reminder that courage and integrity can overcome even the greatest challenges. What do you think? Did you know about Bass Reeves before watching this video? If not, what surprised you the most about his story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.